Fans thought her hair covering one eye was a glamorous signature look. It wasn't. It was a permanent scar left by a monster. This is the terrifying true story of Bergen, the woman of pain. Our story began on the 15th of July, 1959, in Mersin, Turkey, when Belgin Sarilmashir was born in a very modest home, and she was the youngest of 7 children. Belgin lived her early life with a somewhat unstable family. Her parents had an extremely problematic relationship which, a few years later, caused the breakdown of the entire family. In 1966, when Belgin was only 7 years old, her parents separated and her father married another woman. Belgin loved her father a lot, and she always wrote him letters to share her news and tell him how much she loved and appreciated him, even though he left and neglected them. Sadly, the father didn't share her feelings. After he got married and had children, he stopped communicating with her and her siblings and neglected them financially, forcing them to face serious financial hardship. After the divorce, they moved to the capital city, Ankara, and Belgin's mother worked there as a tailor so she could support her family. But it wasn't enough, and on some days they couldn't even put food on the table. Anyway, Belgin kept going to school and working hard, hoping that one day she would be capable of helping her mother and providing a better life for her family. Indeed, despite the hardships, she excelled in her studies and graduated from high school. Belgin had a beautiful and powerful voice. Her teachers and friends were always asking her to sing. At that point, Belgin discovered her passion for singing, and people loved listening to her, so she decided to pursue a singing career. When her teachers learned of that, they encouraged her to study music so she could develop her talent. Belgin didn't hesitate and decided to sign up for piano courses at a music school. There, she learned to play the piano, and with time she fell in love with other musical instruments, especially the cello, so she began learning how to play it and set her mind on buying one. As time passed, Belgin faced difficulties because of her family's financial situation, since her family was still suffering. So after a while, she couldn't continue, even though she was deeply attached to the music school. She had to stop going there because of their circumstances, and she decided to work and help her mother. She worked in a company for postal services. She felt heartbroken that she was drifting away from her dream, and she always arrived at work sad. Then one day, she met her first love, a taxi driver named Yat Shin, who turned Belgin's life upside down. She wasn't sad anymore, and she became more excited, active, and full of life. That was her first love. Yachin confessed his love for her, so she became really attached to him. But unfortunately, she didn't know that he was only planning to use her, and that he didn't truly love her. Belgin made it clear that she had boundaries she would not cross, no matter how much she loved him. But when Yachin felt that she wouldn't comply and give him what he wanted, he forced himself on her without her consent, and she was only 18 years old. Just imagine that, her first love. She was 18, and he raped her. Belgin was broken, and despite what he did to her, she tried to forgive him because she really loved him. Belgin was unable to distinguish between love and abuse, and that even if you loved a person, they might only be using you, and terrible acts might happen under the guise of love. When Belgin asked him to marry her, he admitted that he never loved her and that he was going to marry someone else soon. So she realized that she meant nothing to him, and in the end, he showed his true colors. Although that incident wasn't frequently addressed in the articles we read while gathering details for this story, it likely had a significant impact on Belgin's life. Following the shocking events she went through, Belgin used singing as a way to express her feelings. But until that point, she still hadn't found her breakthrough, though she remained hopeful. After overcoming her shock, Belgin became more mature and careful when dealing with people, especially men, and a bit introverted. Later, she got married to one of her relatives, but she wasn't in love with him. She only agreed because her mother pressured her, and she gave birth to one daughter. In 1979, Belgin's most anticipated dream finally came true. She was with her friends in a nightclub, and because they all admired Belgin's voice, they persuaded her to sing on stage. She refused at first, but eventually she agreed. Belgin sang, and suddenly everyone was captivated by her voice. She had a very special and unique voice. When she finished, everyone stood up and started clapping for her. The club owner fell in love with her voice and offered to pay her a monthly wage to sing at the club. Bergen was very excited for this opportunity. What could be better than a career that allowed her to use her talent? She agreed without hesitation. Bergen started working at the nightclub, and she changed her name to Bergen, which later became her stage name. The name was inspired by one of the most beautiful cities in Norway, Bergen, which was famous for its nature and serenity. Bergen's name gained more recognition over time, especially since she sang a distinctive variety of songs in a genre called arabesque, a style influenced by Middle Eastern music. That's why some Turkish melodies feel familiar to many listeners. Bergen's husband didn't like her career, and many disputes arose between them. He tried several times to stop her, but Bergen was determined to continue. However, Bergen had more issues with her husband as her fame increased. 4 years after their marriage, Bergen had enough and wanted a divorce. He divorced her, but took her daughter. That broke Bergen's heart, especially since her daughter was taken far away and she couldn't see her anymore. As a result, her mental health suffered. However, during that time, she continued singing and received many tempting offers. She even got a major offer to sing in Adana. She agreed in order to advance her career and improve the quality of life for herself and her family. In Adana, she became known for her classical singing and unique voice, and she gained many fans and admirers. Everyone knew her. Bergen received flowers and letters from a fan, but she didn't care and threw them away. On top of that, many people became obsessed with Bergen, including some dangerous individuals connected to crime groups. She faced harassment and threats, especially since these people often frequented the casinos and nightclubs where she performed. She tried to ignore them and avoid them. She even bought a car in installments so she could move around more safely. But one day, something happened that destroyed everything. Suddenly, her car caught fire. Bergen stood there watching her burning car in pain and sorrow. She cried and wondered what she could do. She asked people for help, but no one stepped in. Only one man approached her. But by then, the car was already destroyed. He told her not to worry and promised he would buy her a new one. Bergen was surprised. She didn't know who he was. That man was the same fan who had been sending her flowers and letters. She remembered seeing him at many of her concerts, always sitting quietly and watching her. His name was Halis Serbest. He was a wealthy businessman. He told her he had fallen in love with her and wanted her to become his wife. At first, he was very kind and gentle with her, but he had one condition. He wanted her to quit singing and become a housewife. Bergen agreed. She said she didn't care about singing anymore and only wanted to live peacefully with the man she loved. They got married, but not long after, everything changed. After the marriage, Bergen discovered that Halis had lied about many things. He was drowning in debt and his financial situation was terrible. Even worse, he began physically abusing her almost every night. Bergen didn't understand why he treated her this way. He claimed to love her, yet he beat her. She was confused, hurt, and lost. Eventually, she ran away and returned to singing. Halis would wait behind the stage, apologize, and promise to change. Because she still loved him, she forgave him. But the abuse continued again and again. Bergen became trapped in a vicious cycle. Violence, apology, forgiveness, and then violence again. Eventually, she discovered something shocking. Halis had been lying about everything. He was already married and had 3 children. Even their marriage ceremony had been fake. Even worse, he was the one who had burned her car. He did it to appear heroic and gain her trust. Finally, Bergen fled again and went to live with her mother in Ankara. Soon after, their house was mysteriously set on fire. Bergen suspected Halis again, but he denied it. Not long after, Bergen released her album, I Have a Complaint. Halis became furious and said something chilling. In 3 days, all newspapers will be talking about Bergen, and 3 days later, they were, but not for the reason anyone expected. One night in October 1982, Bergen was leaving a nightclub with her mother after finishing a performance. As she waited for a taxi, a man suddenly approached and threw nitric acid directly into her face. The acid destroyed her skin and permanently blinded her right eye. The attack shocked the entire country. Investigators discovered that Halis had hired someone to carry out the attack. He was arrested and sentenced to prison. After many surgeries and a long recovery, Bergen returned to singing. She covered her damaged eye with her hair, which became her signature look. Her music became even more emotional and powerful. She released albums and starred in a movie about her life called Woman of Pain. That nickname stayed with her forever. Years later, after Halis was released from prison, he tried to reconnect with her again. Against the advice of her family and friends, Bergen eventually saw him again, but the violence returned. Finally, she decided she wanted to leave him forever. On the 14th of August, 1989, while traveling with her mother, Halis confronted her. When she refused to return to him, he pulled out a gun and shot her 6 times. Bergen died instantly. She was only 30 years old. Her mother survived. The man responsible was eventually arrested, but he served only a short prison sentence. Today, Bergen is remembered for her powerful voice and tragic life story. Her image, with her hair covering one eye, remains unforgettable, and her story reminds us of a painful truth. Some people should never be given another chance, because sometimes a second chance is exactly what allows them to hurt you again. If you enjoy real and disturbing stories like this one, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story. Also, leave a like on the video. It helps the channel more than you might think. And before you go, tell me in the comments, do you think Bergen should have forgiven him? Or should she have walked away the first time? I read every comment. Thank you for watching. This is Fadi, and I'll see you in the next story.